What is multi-time frame alignment? I used to use just one chart. Now I use 3 or 4 at a time. Today, I will talk about what it is, how to set it up on your charts, and how to use it. My name is Raven. Welcome to Trade with Raven. I am a new momentum trader. I've been trading about a year, and I'm documenting my journey. If you are also a new trader, come along and join me. Subscribe below. Okay, let's get started. So, what is multi-time frame alignment? Most new traders, I did this as well, look at maybe one chart, okay, maybe the 1 minute or the 5 minute, the chart that they're going to be trading off of. But each time frame tells you something different. The big picture, the trend, the setup, and the entry. Think of it like zooming in on a map. The daily chart is the whole country. The 5-minute chart is the city. The 1-minute chart is the street. And the 10-second chart is the exact address. The goal is alignment between these multiple time frames. You want all 4 of them telling you the same story before you pull the trigger on your purchase of a stock. That would give you high confidence, okay? When the time frames are not aligned, something's off, run for the hills. Okay, so let's get into it. Why isn't one chart enough? Well, a stock can look perfect on the 1-minute chart and be in a downtrend on the daily. You're fighting the bigger picture. It can also look choppy and directionless on one chart and good on another chart. One chart gives you perspective, but that can be misleading. So I'm going to show you a graphic. Okay, here's a little graphic. Up here, you have the daily chart. Okay, now, just so you know, the daily chart is the big picture, okay? And let's talk about that one first. Okay, the daily chart shows you 1 candle per day. It is the highest level view of what the stock has been doing, okay? And here's something that I didn't realize when I started trading, but the daily chart only shows candles from the regular trading session from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 6.5 hours, okay? And it does not include data from the pre-market or the aftermarket. And for stocks that can be traded 24 hours, it doesn't show that. It only shows the price action during the regular trading session. Okay, so that's the first thing that you need to know. All right. What you're looking at here in this chart, and I'm going to show you on Thinkorswim as well, but this is like obviously an upward trend on the daily chart, right? If we're looking at today, so when I trade in the pre-market, I don't have that day's daily chart candle to look at. I'm only looking at the previous day and the days before that. Okay, so we're going to talk another time about indicators, but on the daily chart. But in general, the biggest one that I look at is the 200 simple moving average, and I will show you that on Thinkorswim. Okay, so some things you want to think about are, has the stock recently broke out to a significant level? Is the gap, maybe the stock is gapping up. Is it significant compared to recent price history? So, all right. So I always check the daily chart first, honestly. If the big picture doesn't support the trade, I'm looking for windows, I'm looking for gaps, I'm looking for resistance, and these are all things I'll go over another day. I will do a lesson just on the daily chart. But just so you know, there are things to look at on the daily chart that will help you interpret the big picture. Okay, second, the 5-minute chart. Now, within each daily chart, you have 78 5-minute candles. You'll have other 5-minute candles in the pre-market and aftermarket. And, during overnight hours, if the stock trades 24 hours. However, the only 5-minute candles that are included in the daily chart are 78 candles. Okay. And what you're looking for is the stock in a clear uptrend? On the 5-minute, are the 9 EMA and 20 EMA acting as support or resistance? I'm a momentum trader, so I'm looking for the 5-minute candles to be above the 9-minute and 20-minute EMA. And actually, let's just quickly switch to Thinkorswim. On Thinkorswim, I keep 3 charts up, partly because of limited real estate on my monitor, but also they don't offer a 10-second chart on Thinkorswim. You can create a chart based on ticks, which I haven't done. I know it's possible, but I have started using the 10-second chart on Warrior Trading scanners, which is I use their scanners. So here at the top, you can see the daily chart here for JDZG. Okay, and you can see clearly here, this purple line is the 200 simple moving average. So I know we're skipping around a little bit, but this is the daily chart. Okay, now here's the 5-minute chart. All right, so within each one of these daily candles, you'll have 78 5-minute candles. Okay, and I'm looking for on the 5-minute chart, I'm looking for is my price action above the VWAP, the yellow line, and above the 9 EMA, which is the light blue line, and above the 20 EMA, which is the dark blue line. Those are some of the indicators that I use. The 5-minute shows you, I guess, a bigger picture than the smaller candles, which we'll discuss in a minute, but obviously it zooms in on that day's price action. So like I said, when I pull up my charts in the morning at 7 a.m. and I start trading, the daily, I'm not looking at the current daily candle. I'm looking at the daily chart in the big picture. Once the market opens at 9:30, then a daily candle will start forming for that particular day. I found that really confusing when I started. Okay, the 1-minute chart, which is what I use here, for each, let's go back to our graphic. For each 5-minute candle, there will be 5 1-minute candles. Okay, so now we're really drilling down into deeper analysis. This is where you can identify your particular setup. Some people trade off of the 5-minute chart, but for small cap momentum trading, I find that too slow. I think that's probably better suited to swing traders, but you can let me know what you think about that. Okay, so on the 1-minute chart, this is where I do the majority of my trading and setups. Okay, this is where I'm also looking for the price action to be above the 9 EMA and the 20 EMA, and I am looking for it to be above VWAP, which is this yellow line. This is where I'm really paying attention to volume. I also pay attention to volume on the 5-minute. You can see here, let's look at this here. Okay, so right here, you can see that this was right at the beginning of, actually, this is the aftermarket. This is the aftermarket on the last trading day. You can see that the stock was running up and the price at volume, I mean, the volume bars are also running up. And here you can see that on the 1-minute, the price is also running up. But this very first candle here on the 5-minute, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 candles here on the 1-minute. Okay, so here you see this 1 volume bar. These 5 volume bars are included in that. Okay, so you want to really look at, is the volume confirming the move? And the 1-minute is where my trades live. Okay, that's where I look at the 5-minute to make sure that everything's aligned, but that is where I really do my setups, is on the 1-minute chart. Okay, the 10-second chart, let's look at that. The 10-second chart, I just honestly really started using the 10-second chart. I've been wanting to for a long time. One of my viewers brought it up the other day, and I did start adding it. I'm not trading on the 10-second chart, but I am looking to see multi-time frame alignment. So now On the 10-second chart, you can see here, let me try to zoom in. You can see here that right here, 7:06. Let's look. This is 7:06 is where it started to really pop up. Let me go down here. So on the 10-second chart, you have 6 candles, 6 for every 1 minute candle. Okay, so you're really, really drilling down into the nitty gritty. So what looks like one candle with a small wick on the 1 minute is actually could be a full micro pullback pattern playing out across several candles on the 10-second chart. And this is the main reason why I have started using the 10-second chart to confirm some of the intra-candle action on the 1 minute chart, especially the micro pullback. That is something, that's a setup that I feel like I need improvement on big time. Okay, so like I said, let's take a quick look. I have this graphic here that shows a difference between, this is when you see the daily, the 5 minute, the 1 minute, and the 10-second chart in alignment. That gives you the highest confidence that you're making a good decision on that entry. When you have misalignment here, okay, choppy action within a candle, it doesn't really make sense within the overall pattern, that's when you lack conviction in your decision. Okay. All right. Common beginner mistakes. Of which I have made many. Just looking at one chart, it just doesn't give you enough information. That is honestly the biggest mistake. And I know it can be really confusing when you are a new trader to look at multiple charts. It will take time. This is why I encourage you to trade with paper money or in a simulator first, okay? And I'm just starting to use the 10-second chart myself. And it's taken me a few days to start to really see the alignment. And I've been doing this for a year. So give yourself time to let your eyes adjust and start to pick up the patterns. Pattern recognition is really huge, obviously, with chart analysis and technical analysis. So another beginner mistake is not knowing which candle to look at and not understanding which candles within the 1 minute chart are in a particular candle in the 5 minute chart. So take your time, okay? Don't rush this. It takes time sitting in front of the charts, watching. And if you're sitting down to trade and nothing is popped up, that is the perfect time to get your eyes used to multi-time frame alignment, because it's only with practice that you're going to improve on this, right? So spend the time watching, and eventually your eye will start to pick it up. And let's see. Another beginner mistake is waiting and waiting and waiting for every single time frame to be perfect. I mean, you want alignment, but absolute perfection is going to be very difficult to achieve. So I want to say the 80-20 rule is a really good rule for pretty much all decision making, the Pareto principle. Go with 80% of the data, and that seems to work pretty well. All right, let's do a recap of multi-time frame alignment. Okay, so it means using more than one chart together in conjunction to get a more complete picture before you enter a trade. Okay, the daily chart will give you context. All right, but just remember that it only includes candles from the regular trading session, 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., which is a little confusing at first. The 5 minute chart, okay, think of that more as the trend, okay? And each daily chart contains 78 5-minute candles, okay? The 1 minute chart, that is where most small cap momentum traders are actually looking for setups and trading off of that chart. Okay, each 5-minute candle contains 5 1-minute candles. And the 10-second chart, which I have just started using, each 1-minute candle has 6 10-second candles within it. Okay, and that's where I'm starting to look for confirmation of intra-candle micro pullback setups, because I've really been struggling with that setup and I want to improve on that. If this content has been helpful and you're a new trader, come along for my journey. Please subscribe. I am also over on Substack. I am coming up with a weekly goal every week, and I'm posting over there on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on my weekly goals so you can kind of track my progress. That's where I'm really dialing in on a specific skill or indicator or something every week that will contribute to a solid progression of improvement over time. Well, I'll see you next time. Trade smart.